topic for this month's Womandla in Fitness webinar is Overcoming Obesity, My Journey. To be a part of the conversations on all social media platforms, please use our hashtag WIFwebinar and tag @IChooseToBeActive. Please allow me to introduce our three panelists for this evening's webinar. Our first panelist is Dr. Thabang Molefe, who is a registered ethno with 19 years of experience. Dr. Thabang's profession enables her to realize her vision of using clinically tested herb solutions to treat lifestyle diseases. She is a ShopRite Checkers Woman of the Year 2008 recipient, and author of a book called Dollars to Soweto, a business owner of the Roots Healthcare Center, which currently has 8 branches in South Africa, and a philanthropist who runs mobile clinics in rural areas of our country. Her success to date is in enabling access to usage of cost-effective ethane medicines to the South African community so as to help them fight or alleviate infections causing lifestyle diseases and affecting vital organs. Apart from practicing and running her successful business, Dr. Molefe manages to do 4 or 5 power walks every week as part of her lifelong wellness culture commitment. Our second panelist for this evening is Mr. Lawrence Ramano, who is the epitome of triumph over trials and tribulations, which he overcame when he started his weight loss journey in 2017. Tonight, he will share his transformation journey with us because at the heart of his larger-than-life personality is his desire to motivate others to overcome obesity through practical, healthy habits. He is currently an ambassador of one of the biggest gym franchises in South Africa and a lecturer by profession at the South. Our third panelist is Mr. Samuel Chonyana, also known as Sam the Challenger or Dr. Sam to the community of I Choose to Be Active. Sam the Challenger is the founder of the 90 Days movement and in turn the author of Life After Dieting, a 90-day blueprint on how to lose weight, defeat sugar, and transform your health forever. Sam's transformation journey of overcoming obesity is at the heart of his philanthropic drive in establishing the hashtag 90 Days Without Sugar email program after people began to ask for the secret of his weight loss. The program has helped more than 10,000 people transform their lives in losing body fat, defeating sugar addiction, as well as building sustainable health habits. Now, Sam's vision is to help 1 million people defeat sugar addictions and develop healthy habits. Our facilitator for this evening is Ms. Zamaswazi Nkosi, also known as Fit Zamaswazi. Zama is a fitness influencer and a trade and industry advisor by profession who started her fitness journey in 2017. Her fitness journey has inspired so many people globally, not just in South Africa, to pursue a lifelong wellness lifestyle. In turn, her journey has also opened a flurry of brand endorsement opportunities, enabling her to work with various brands in the fitness and nutrition industry. She's currently part of the I Choose to Be Active movement team whilst pursuing her national diploma in personal training and nutrition.
Womandla in Fitness, Koketo. Thank you so much for the warm introduction and good evening and sanbonani and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the 4th Womandla in Fitness webinar. So noma ngabe ukuphi right now, usekhaya kini, useTexini, uyageza, usejimini, biza abangani bakho, call your friends, call your family, biza ugogo wakho, and even if it means you have to buy them data, call them because Silana Manje and we are here to talk about overcoming obesity. And if you thought that was not possible, you might want to rethink that because tonight's panelists overcame that epidemic. Now, the I Choose to Be Active campaign is brought to us by the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture. And it's therefore befitting to start our webinar this evening by speaking to the head of marketing at the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture, Queen Naniki, QNM as we fondly call her. Umbuzo wami wokuqala uza kuwena, Sis Queen Naniki. Angel, so we have been running these webinars for 3 months now, 3 full months, with a clear intended outcomes. So what do you hope to achieve on today's session?
Good evening, Samasozi. Thank you so much for this privilege. Good evening to our viewers at home, wherever you may be, on Zoom, on Facebook, on Instagram. Yes, indeed, that's a very important question that you're asking me. When we kickstarted, I remember in August, we spoke to the issue of how those who love being fit, who participate in it, can turn the opportunity of being fit into an opportunity of becoming fitness influencers. And we shared with them the tips to do so. Then in turn, the second time around, when we came back with the webinar in August, we spoke to issues of my body, my business, where, you know, women in the fitness space unpacked the challenges that they experience when they want to be physically active, be it in gyms, be it in other facilities, be it, you know, running, you know, in the streets, how society at large can play its part in terms of reducing or mitigating, stopping. And then, of course, in August, in September, we came back and then we were able to understand that collectively as a society, we are actually a fit, you know, we're a culture that embraces fitness, but along the way, we've lost that because of modernization, because of digitization, because of eating, you know, unwell foods and really loving to eat processed food. So we then take a step back and say, as a result of that, the stats speak for themselves. And we've spoken about them repeatedly. 60% of women, 30% of men are obese. Is it possible to deal with these issues? And are there people who have been able to deal with that? And so tonight unpacks that. We'll hear the powerful, enriching, inspiring stories from our two panelists, you know, complemented by the doctor, unpacking for us that, yes, it is possible. But when we do so, we'll look at what are the triggers that have normalized obesity in our society. We'll then look at the impact of those triggers. Then we'll hear the transformational journeys that our panelists have gone through, and they'll give us words of encouragement on how we can be able to imitate them and be able to also find ourselves overcoming obesity, whether it's your family member, your colleague, your friend, someone in your community. And that's really the outcomes that we're hoping to get from tonight. Thank you, Sissy.
Woo, thank you so much, Q&M, for recapping everything that we've covered for the past few months. And you are actually right. Research does highlight that in SA, we have children aged 6 to 14 years of age with an overweight and obesity prevalence of 13.5%, which is higher than 10% of global prevalence in school children. Those are very shocking stats, ladies and gentlemen. Now let's turn our attention to our first panelist, Mr. Lawrence Romano, Women in Fitness. Mr. Lawrence, how are you doing this evening? Mr. Lawrence?
I'm fine, and you?
I'm great. So, Mr.
Great.
Lawrence, how was it like growing up as an obese child?
Growing up as an obese child, it has been very challenging. I remember when I was about 9-10 years old, still in primary. People used to mock me, calling me Chibumba, you know, and due to my deformed belly button, I was also called names and like Magomboni, you know. So growing up like that, it has been very challenging on my side. I used to eat a lot, and other kids would mock me at school because of I'm fat, for example, and I hated being around other children to the point whereby at the end of the day I felt like, you know what, this is not me. I hated to be mocked, for example, you know, other children laughing at me. I felt unworthy, for example. I felt like I'm not wanted. Really, it has been very difficult. Really, it was tough.
I can imagine. I mean, no child deserves to go through that. And you're actually highlighting a very important issue here, which is bullying. And that's another problem. And it seems like it really targets overweight children, which brings me to my next question that is directed to Dr. Molefe. But first of all, good evening, Dr. Molefe, or Mandla in Fitness. How are you this evening?
Good evening, Wamandla in Fitness. Thank you. I'm well, thanks, and you?
I'm great. So my first question to you, since Mr. Lawrence has spoken about how he was bullied as a little boy, do you think bullying could be one of the triggers that amplifies obesity in children?
There's lots of reasons, okay? We're first gonna start, the possibility of the gene can trigger obesity. Lack of exercise can trigger obesity. Children not being involved in sports activity can trigger obesity. Poor diet can trigger obesity. This can affect proper function of the kidney and also weight gain. Pancreas causing diabetes, brain function, affecting memory, leading to depression. And in adults, ovaries activities like, causing infertility, causing depression, obesity, poor bowel function, causing constipation, ulcers, acids, resulting from stress and causing weight problem. However, bacteria such as Shigella is found in dairy products and also is found in meat, also causes dairy product. And then common causes of obesity in children and adults can maybe for high intake of sugar, high intake of yeast products, high intake of white flour products, too much acid foods, drinks, all these turn food into fat instead of energy, leading to obesity. Bullying is a major challenge in children and obesity. Children crave sugar, trying to cope with stress and bullying. They live in fear. They're sensitive about their weight. They feel unloved. They sleep all the time because of the withdrawal and low energy. They resort into junk food and as the coping mechanism, which is actually not good. Thank you for that.
Oh, thank you so much, Doctor. That was a mouthful. And I hope everybody took note of all those triggers. And actually what caught my attention was Shugela, which it's actually my first time hearing about it. And now I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, I have to go do my own little research, because if you're busy gaining weight and you're busy consuming dairy and meat, and you're not aware. So these are the things that we need to start educating ourselves about. Thank you so much, Doctor, for that. And back to you, Mr. Romano. As you journeyed from childhood to the awesome gentleman that you are now, how did this bullying really affect you mentally?
Now, you will imagine growing up like that, being body shamed, for example, name calling, for example. It ended up affecting me to the point whereby I took out the stress on food, to the point whereby I was getting more and more fat, because now I'm like, I'm not accepted by people. I ended up becoming people's pleaser in the name of being accepted. So I even get to the point whereby I didn't care anymore. What will people say? I didn't care. As long as I'm alive, I'm okay. And I saw myself losing in my mind as I am gaining weight. I remember, in my high school, I was getting more and more fat. So really, it was really stressing.
Wow. I'm actually personally happy that you fought that, because that's too much. It's really hectic. You almost lost yourself when you're starting to want to please people. Now you're starting to lose yourself in the process, and we're really happy that you overcame all of that. Back to you, Doctor. As you've heard Mr. Lawrence saying, the bullying affected him mentally, and he almost lost himself. What do you think is the correlation between mental health and obesity? Like, what's the relationship between these two variables?
Okay, common psychological impact leading to depression and obesity. When bullied, you stop, when you're being bullied, it's not right, because you stop loving yourself, you lose interest in everything. such as social gatherings, family gatherings, sports activity. You have mood swings. You imagine things like, they are laughing at me, they're looking at me, they don't like me, I look bad, I'm actually ugly. You result into alcohol and drugs. You become bitter, and you become resentfulness, and you also develop jealousy, you develop self-pity, you blame others for your health unhappiness, and you're actually always mad, and you also have suicidal thoughts. You sleep most of the time due to helplessness and low energy. And all this can cause depression and mental illness. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you are really putting it out there, doctor, that there's indeed a positive correlation between mental health and obesity. So whenever you see an obese person, they probably have mental health issues. Or when a person develops mental issues, they probably will become obese, because the two seem to have positive correlation. Now to Mr. No Sugar, Mr. Sam, to everyone in the room who doesn't know why I call him that, is because this gentleman runs a 90-day movement where you do not consume sugar. He educates people about the dangers of consuming highly processed sugar, and in turn lose weight in process. Mr. Sam, so I read in your book, Life After Dieting, right? And in your book, you say, and I quote, "It seems everyone in the family, my father, my siblings inclusive, struggles with maintaining regular weight." Now, did this have any impact, like in struggling with self-criticism or low self-worth of any kind in your life?
Yes, good evening, Zama. Good evening to everybody who has joined the webinar. So to answer your question, yes, I think I would echo what the doctor has said and also what Lawrence has said. I think, you know, growing up as a chubby, you know, we call them chubby, but as an obese kid, you know, it does affect you, you know, where you are really very, very critical on yourself. You really want to withdraw. You know, so for me, you know, growing up, I used to love sports. I still love sports, by the way, right? And you know, one of my dreams, I saw myself as a soccer star. A soccer star. You know, that was like one of my passions. You know, I never, you know, cared about anything as long as I could be a soccer star, right? But because of I was on the obese side of it, and actually that is one of the reasons why I started my weight loss journey. You know, when I was about 13, 14, right? Because I wanted to make the first team soccer, right? And because I was slow, you know, on the pitch, you know, I wanted to become faster, I wanted to become leaner, you know, I wanted to become better as a soccer player. And I started obviously wanting to lose weight. But, you know, because of that, you know, inability to maintain a regular weight, you know, I couldn't make, you know, the first team. And actually because of that, you know, self-criticism and looking down on myself, right? I just made a decision to quit, you know, wanting to be a soccer star and even, you know, quit, you know, quote unquote, the dream of being that soccer player. So yes, I do believe that, you know, as growing as an overweight child, you know, really made me miss out on one of the things that I could have been pursuing, you know. So unfortunately to the country, you lost a soccer star because of obesity. And yeah, for me, I think reflecting and looking on the journey, you know, I could have put more, you know, more effort and more emphasis on that dream. You know, I could have been somewhere. But yeah, so that is from my side. I think as an obese kid, you just want to withdraw from everything, and even from the things that you love doing, you know, because of you really do not believe that you are capable because of, you know, the weight issue.
They lost a soccer star. We've gained, you know, a leader because you've changed so many lives through your movements. Yeah. I mean, if you had become a soccer star, and maybe we wouldn't even know about processed sugar and all of the, you know, the dangers it contains. So it's a loss to them and a gain to us. Bittersweet.
Yeah. No, definitely.
Thank you so much, Sam, for that. And back to you, Mr. Lawrence. So I just want to know, as when you were in between your journey from being an obese child and journeying to become a man, you know, obviously in between that period, you know, you wanted to try different things, to fix your problem, different products, different methods. So what I want to know is, what are some of the methods that you used? Because we know, there are a lot of quick fixes, people sell us dreams every day. And recently there's this coffee and lemon, I don't know if it's coffee and lemon, but it is said to, help people lose weight like drastically, and we know that's not true. So from your side, what are the things that you've tried to help you with your problem?
Well, as I would watch TV, I watched adverts whereby they're advertising stuff, the belts that you can put on your, on your stomach, so that they can help you, just have six-pack. I tried such things, but yeah, you know what? Nothing was working out. I drank stuff. I drank pills that are even advertised that they can help you lose weight. And I tried all sorts of quick ways to lose weight. But guess what? Is the more that I was and on my side, I felt that, these things don't work. I became, I lost trust in the fact that I'm gonna lose weight. After everything that I've tried, I felt betrayed and desperate, and I'm like, what, these things don't work. After everything that I've tried, and
but we are happy that you eventually saw the light, and I hope everyone in the room can actually take pointers can actually learn from your mistakes of trying quick fixes, and that they will not work. You really have to be patient with yourself and take the long journey. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. I hope everyone took note of that. And we've come to the end of our part 1. Now coming to our part 2. And we have established that with contributions from our panelists, Dr. Molefe, Mr. Lawrence, and Sam, that indeed obesity in childhood and adulthood tends to be accompanied by feelings of low self-esteem and bullying, which literally leads to mental problems. We have also established that the challenges makes us and those we care about to be vulnerable to quick fix methods, which may not always be helpful. And I must say they're very expensive. Now, the Umanda in Fitness, like Haya, the webinar, is known for not just pointing out, the challenges, but also we want to identify solutions for those challenges. So back to you, my brother, Mr. Lawrence. In every trial and tribulations there is, throughout your journey, what was that moment for you where you were like, what, I'm tired of this. I've been in this hole for so long. I really need to get out of it. When was that snap moment for you? When you were like, what, I really need to get up and start moving and start changing my life?
Now, as I've tried all these shortcuts, I became desperate to the point whereby I was like, what, I don't care anymore. What will people say? And there comes an angel in my life. I met a stranger that we became great friends, and my friend was hard on me. My friend said to me, "You don't love yourself." And I was like, "What are you saying? I love myself." Said, "No, you don't love yourself. You don't care about yourself. Here you are having 2 beautiful girls, and you are going to die young, and you leave them behind." That really, really hit me hard. And I was like, I need to do something here. So to me, that was the turn of everything to say, what, after everything that I've went through, I've given up on myself. And the more I've given up on myself, I'm getting worse and worse. And here comes, someone who's saying to you, you are not loving yourself. To me, that was the moment that really hit me hard to say, I gotta do something.
That was an angel sent by God, I must tell you. I'm a fan of his work because he got you up. That is some real tough love. And 2 weeks ago, I gave somebody some tough love. This person is in this room. I'm not gonna say names, but I gave her some tough love and she's been training for 8 days now, you know? And I must say sometimes, you know, you need to push your loved ones. You need to give them that tough love just to tell them that they need to get up and start moving, you know, before things get bad, because we know obesity, you know, can really, really, really get bad. Isintu sithi umuntu ngabantu, you know, and in essence, that means family, friends, and the community plays a very, very important role in helping loved ones overcome their challenges in their life. Now, Mr. Lawrence, what sort of support structure did you have throughout your journey to maintain your newly found resolution to overcome obesity? You are on mute, Mr. Lawrence. Please unmute yourself.
Okay, now that, sorry about that. Now that the reality has really hit me hard to say, I need to do something. I was advised as to what best ways can work out for me. Looking at the fact that I am 135 kg, for example, I couldn't run, you know. I was advised by this friend of mine to say, start simply by walking. I remember this one day, I said, you know what, today's the day. After work, I went to the grounds. I started simply by walking. I started simply by walking. And my friend would come at times and walk with me. And this is whereby I said, you know what, this is the way to go. And from there, from that moment on, I remember I even told my brother is big into exercising. Most of you guys know him, Kenneth Ramano, Mr. Sport Run. He even said to me, my younger brother, I'm going to get you a new running shoes. And I was like, what? He said, go for it. I am behind you. So you tend to see that you are not alone, you know. Everybody has been there for me. My sister Lillian has been there for me. My colleagues have been there for me to say, you know what, you can do this. And everybody was been behind me. And here I am, I'm saying, you know what, I can do this. As the saying goes, people can advise you, people can motivate you, but it's going to take you to get up and move and do something about it.
I'm sure they're really impressed with your improvement and your growth right now. I'm sure now we have a Shiaman Gijima. Do you still run together? Do you still run together?
They can't run with me.
They can't run with you. I knew it. Levels. Oh my God. Now, back to you, Mr. 90 Days with No Sugar. Sam, you know, with your 90-day movement, since you started it, you know, it was your thing. It was your way to start losing weight. At what point did you realize, no, man, you know, this could really, you know, be a formula for driving a support structure for people who are also suffering from obesity? Like, at what point did you realize, you know, I've got gold here, you know, I can really help the nation?
Yeah. So I think for me, it was 2 events, right? The first one was, you know, because of the 90 days without sugar, when the first one that I did was an experiment, right? I wanted to see what would happen if I just quit sugar for 90 days and what in turn happened. So when I was sharing my results of, you know what, this happened after I went 90 days without sugar, you know, I lost 13 kilograms, 2 pant sizes, you know, I could run 21 kilometers, you know, I couldn't even run 5, you know, when I started my journey. And I was sharing those results on Twitter, right? And the reaction that came from people was, you know, the famous question, you know, what is the secret of your weight loss? What did you do? You know, there was a lot of people asking me, do you have a WhatsApp group? You know, there was a lot of people asking questions, you know, about, you know, that 3 months journey. And that, I think, dawned on me that, you know what, let me create the 90 Days Without Sugar email program, you know, which was the kind of the first community building tool, you know, that I brought and said, you know what, if you really want to go on this journey, you know, I've got a guide that can help you for the next 3 months. And obviously people started signing up for it. And the second event I think that I saw, you know, as the hashtag started gaining momentum, you know, around 2019, early 2019, you know, I saw the community members, you know, helping each other. So for example, someone would ask the question, you know, about the journey and obviously use our hashtag, and we'll see community members rallying around that person, whether it be for encouragement, whether it be for any answers, you know, whether it be for any clarification. So I think those are the kind of the two events that really showed me that, you know what, community is such a big part of this journey, you know. And I read a quote, right, that, you know, the reason why, you know, people with running clubs run more, or people who join health clubs or gym more, the reason people who go to Alcohol Anonymous, you know, quit alcohol, is because of that community. You know, they belong to a community that has shared goals and that holds each other accountable to encourage each other. So yeah, those are kind of the two events that really, you know, really showed me that, you know, this could be a great tool to be used to motivate people on their journey to losing weight.
Wow. Your work is amazing, Sam. I don't want to not say. Your work is truly amazing. And you really, you know, transformed a lot of people. Actually, the whole of South Africa actually knows you, the whole entire nation. And do you remember you once made me run 3 kilometers on your first event of 90-day movement? I will never forget that day. I ran. Oh my gosh. Guys, I ran, and the following day I couldn't even wake up, because you guys know me, I'm all about, you know, the weights, the strength. Mr. 90 Days said, no, we are going running. And I ran 3 kilometers straight up, 30 minutes, and I almost died. While we're still on the community work, Doctor, coming to you, I read in your book, Dollars to Soweto, that, you know, you've opened doors to your first health and wellness center in 2002. Now, please tell us what community work do you do to help people that can't really afford your services?
Okay, what we do is, when we first opened the Roots doors in 2002, we went to churches, schools, communities in the rural areas, and we started doing mobile clinics, which is, we are famous for that. We started going to Welkom, Kotop, Bloemfontein, KZN. We still have mobile clinics even for today. We used to explain to the people the importance of servicing your body. We always use an illustration of a car. Where people have cars, they change oils, plugs, but when it comes to your body, nobody does that. So we used to encourage people to always service your body, and we'll always encourage them to also use some of our services, such as blood analysis, iridology, and all that. But we always go to the community in order to explain the importance of taking care of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Doctor, for that. And I hope people in the room did take note. You may use the information for yourself, or you might want to share with a friend that is suffering from obesity, because, you know, you are not alone. It really takes a village to solve a challenge that people face. Coming back to you, Mr. Lawrence, we are about to touch a very sensitive issue here. Lawrence, what were some of the non-communicable diseases you had to start taking medication treatment for because of you being obese?
In 2010, I was diagnosed with hypertension, high blood pressure, because of my obese. I remember I was around 25 years old, and I was weighing around 120 something kg then. And I was told that this is high blood pressure, because I woke up one morning and I was not feeling well. I said, you know what, let me go to the clinic. Then they checked me and everything. Then they said, you know what, your body is not coping well. Then after everything that was done on me, they said this is high blood pressure. And I started to take me. In fact, I was in denial, because to me, I was like, I'm still young. When the world can a young person go through this? Then I said, you know what, I need to go to the clinic and take the medication. I went, they gave me the medication, they told me how to take it. I struggled the first week, but I had to get used to it, because if I'm not doing this, it's gonna be worse. I was told that I need to exercise, I need to watch what I eat. I hated exercising with passion. You couldn't stop me from my food. I loved food. I love cooking. I love baking, for example. I said, these people, they don't know me. Guess what? I became worse and worse. I became more obese. Yeah, you know, and every day I was taking medication for high blood.
Oof, that's very hectic. I can only imagine. You know, guys, obesity is a serious problem, and you really need to get out of your head and not be in denial, and really stop consuming unhealthy food, because you're making your problems worse. You know, nobody knows what could have happened if Mr. Romano didn't really, you know, get out of his head and start focusing on eating healthy and moving his body. You know, and while we're still on that topic for the diseases, Dr. Molefe, after hearing what Mr. Lawrence has said, you know, suffering from high blood pressure and all those illnesses, you run a health and wellness center. How has your practice helped those living with NCDs and because of obesity? Is doctor still in the room?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh,
all right, let's talk about inhaling. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly.
All right. Okay. What we do is, let's start
Did we lose
inhaling.
doctor again?
Inhaling, we do something called. No, I can hear. I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'll continue here. In healing, we do something called iridology and blood analysis. We take a sample of the blood to analyze the bacteria, the parasites, toxins, key organs, functions. That's what we do. And then we also do colon hydrotherapy, which benefits with the IBS, bad breath, constipation, acid, gas, lots of gas in the stomach, uric acid, weight loss. And we always encourage people to do colonics maybe 3 to 6 times a year. We do G5 machine, which actually helps with cellulite, muscle pull, weight loss, and stress. And then we also encourage them to do a liver cleanse, which helps them to cleanse the acid, mucus, buildup of sugar, yeast, the liver stones, and also giving them like a proper cleanse so that they can do it when they get home. And then we give them a slimming tea that we are famous for our herbal teas, which actually helps with the high blood pressure, the sugar. And then we'll also give them that herbal tea, also helps with cellulite, also helps with the problem with sometimes people, they say, I feel like eating all the time. This also actually helps with suppressing yourself from eating, and then also helps you with constipation, because again, lots of people will say, my food is not digesting. It also helps with insomnia. And then we also do a kidney cleanse that we are famous for, that helps to excrete all the toxins in your body and your urinary system. And then for emotions, we do a G5 machine to calm the system. We encourage them to walk 5 kilometers per day. And then for diet, we encourage them to increase vegetable intake and less starch and fruits like kiwi, grapefruit, berries to reduce the acid level, and also reducing sugar and foods that has lots of toxins and acid, and drinks. And we also encourage them, the most important thing, to drink lots of water. Drink lots of water. Don't be dehydrated. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, doctor. And you know what I love about your services is that you're talking all organic, all herbal, you know. And the more organic the food is, the more healthy it is, the easier your body it will digest it. Thank you so much, doctor. Just one question: do you have anything for sore muscles? You know, some of us suffer from sore muscles after lifting heavy weights.
Yes, I do. I have lots of
Yeah,
herbs that
something.
helps with the
Okay.
sore muscles that you can drink, and we also have that G5 machine that we use also. Yeah, and then that is the slimming tea is the one that actually helps a lot in terms of sore muscles because it works with the muscles. And yeah, I'll get you one.
How siyabonga, siyabonga. Okay, can you hear me, guys? I think I've lost you there.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
Oh, all right. I think my connection started losing there. I didn't get the last words, doctor.
Okay, no, I was saying I can get you the sleeping tea and I'll give you some herbs that actually helps with your muscles.
Yes.
And then you can come through, I'll do the G5 machine that helps to pull with the strain of the muscle.
Thank you so much, doctor. I'm not gonna forget, we're gonna go offline, you know, Iskora has to relax. And for everyone also that does lift weights, you know, and suffers from sore muscles, you can get in contact with doctor next to you. Okay, Mr. Lawrence, I heard you earlier, you said you didn't like exercising, but you eventually did. Ngoba isimo siyakuphoqa. So what did what did physical exercise play? What role did it play in your weight loss journey?
Now that I hated exercising, I hated working on my diet, and I said, let me start doing something. On the 1st of November 2017, I started simply by walking at the grounds. Every day, I would walk for an hour. And I was making sure that this is becoming my habit every day. You know, at 135 kg, Lawrence is walking for an hour every single day. I lost 21 kg through walking only. While I've been worked on my bad eating habits, and I'm just walking every day. And my friend said to me, your body now needs a change. Because remember, from 135 kg to 114, I am now stuck. Then I said, what must I do? Because now I was coming up with an excuse because of the weather. I can't go to the grounds. You know, there was lightning, so I cannot go to the grounds. And my friend said to me, let's go to the gym. Let's look for the gym around, you know, Benoni. I went to the gym, and I was day one there being told how gym works and everything there, going to the BMI there. Man, I was still not where I want to be, you know, at 114. Guess what happened? Me settling now at the gym. Being new, I hated gym as well. You know, you couldn't tell me anything about gym. I think money, I think of money paying there. And I'm like, yeah, you know what, now it's gonna be tough. And I am now trying to settle. I gained to 120 because I've been worked on my eating habits, and now I am trying to settle down because I asked, which equipment can I use now at the gym? I was told treadmill is good for you, you know, cardio section there. So I am now, you know, trying to do a treadmill, elliptical, and at the end of the day, I manage to calm down. But whenever I get to 114, I get too excited. I couldn't pass 114. I was gaining. I remember I went to 120, and now my friend said to me, Lawrence, there's a challenge on Twitter, which is called 90 Days Challenge Without Sugar. Have a look at it. Go subscribe, you will receive emails. And I was like, now they want to disturb now my eating now. When the word cannot stop sugar. And I read Sam's emails there, giving tips and everything. I gave it a try, you know, and by cutting out sugar, I saw results. I beat 114, I went down. I was so excited. I was like, you know what, this can be done, you know, this can be done. Then I realized that, you know what, indeed, no man is an island, no man is a land. So I just want to say thanks to Sam for that, because of that was my challenge. That was my challenge, you know, since you spoke about a couple of things, in your emails. I was struggling with snaking, for example. I was struggling with fats, for example, and sugar. Now I had to work it out, and it really worked for me. So I developed a habit, for example, of going to the gym twice a day. 4 a.m. I was at the gym. 4 a.m. I was at the gym. I wake up past 3, preparing myself, driving to the gym. 4 a.m. I'm there standing, waking out, and I'm there 4 a.m. and I go in the evening until it really gets to me to say, you know what, this is it. Nobody will do this for me. I gotta do this.
Wow. You know, what I'm taking from this really is that it's a journey, really. You know, you make mistakes, you fall, you get up, you pick yourself, you try something else. You know, you're just always trying to improve as you go on. You know, it's not about getting it all figured out in the beginning. You know, you will fail at some time, but the main focus is to just continue moving forward. And that's what you did. And imagine if Sam went and played soccer, you were not gonna know anything about you'll probably be stuck at 114.
Yeah.
No, that's a joke. Okay, so Mr. Lawrence, I can hear that you were really on fire when you started the gym. And then COVID came in the picture. COVID. You know, and I remember we had so many restrictions when COVID hit. And I remember when gyms when gyms closed down, you know, it really messed up with my whole entire routine because I love the gym. So how did you really change? I mean, how did COVID restrictions like impact your routine at that time?
I really hated the idea that they were going to close the gyms. Guess what? I was making sure that unless they say gyms are closed, I'm not gonna stop. I was going to the gym because I was depending on the gym 100%, you know, making sure that until they said stop. I remember even exercising, wearing gloves, you know, and I was like, yeah, you know what, you know, and I was like, you know what, yeah, things are tough. But really, when COVID came, I was 108. What I feared the most happened to me. Because now here I am, I'm stuck in the house. I don't know what to do. I gained to 113. I gained to 113 from 108. And I'm like, this cannot go on like this. What must I do? I started jogging in my yard. My yard. One thing that was surprising is that my girls are also coming and running with me in the yard. And I was like, you know what? At least something great is happening in this COVID. You know, now my kids are you know, getting interested into jogging with me in the yard. I will also apply the same thing, jogging twice a day in the yard. 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm jogging in the yard. Just like that. I even also included skipping rope. I hated skipping with all my heart. I was in pain for 3 weeks. Imagine, you know, because of now I'm trying to improvise in this situation. So really, COVID really dealt with me psychologically and physically, but I managed to fight back.
Nazo, you are not alone. Yeah, COVID dealt with all of us. You know, we were all like, oh my gosh, how are we going to live now? How are we going to do this? But everything that helped you, everything that you love now, you actually hated it in the beginning because you hated running, yet you ran. You hated the gym, and now gyms are closing, and now you feel like you can't survive without the gym. So I love this transformation of hating exercising and then falling in love with it. Now, Doctor, coming back to you, Lawrence and Sam has shared with us some of the habits that they had to build in order to start with their weight loss journeys. Now, how important is diet in pursuing a well, as well as like committing to a long life wellness culture?
It is extremely important. At the Roots Health Center, we had a lot of testimonial of people who had lifestyle challenges, because it's actually a lifestyle. in their diet and cultures for eating from, like, for people who are suffering from high blood. We have people whom we've helped for, like, where they were suffering from high blood, arthritis, and they were having problems like headaches and constipation. So poor diet, it's actually not good. So you have to make sure that you eat proper diet, and you try to eat the right way and the clean way. So now, benefits of healthy eating, what are they? You have lots of energy when you are actually eating well, you sleep well, you look good, you live healthy, you enjoy life. Actually, you are also safe from chronic diseases such as high blood, sugars, and you have more confidence and you have positive attitude upon life. Thank you.
I can really attest to that, Doctor. Really, thank you so much. I can really attest to that. When you eat healthy, you really do feel fresher. You feel lighter. You feel like you feel happier. You have a much more positive outlook to life when you eat healthy. What you put in your body, is what really shows up, because the food that we eat is the energy for our bodies. Now, before we wrap up tonight, Mr. Lawrence, what would you say to somebody right now who is watching this webinar? Someone who's really saying, it's easy for you to say, you've already done it, you've lost the weight, I'm struggling, I can't do it. A person right now who feels like, this is all just, gimmick. A person who's really willing to give up and throw away the towel. What would you say to them to help them get up and start moving?
Looking at the fact that I've lost 45 kg, I look back and I can say I fell many times. It has been, a journey which is full of ups and downs. We rise, we fall, we rise. But one thing that I've seen is determination. Don't sit and say there's nothing that I can do. I managed to get up even when I don't feel like going. I was telling someone sometime last week. I said, for me now to exercise or to take care of my body, it is no longer a matter of feeling. It's about obligation. It's something that I must do it, because now I am loving myself. Because you need to ask yourself, why are you doing it? Are you doing it to please someone? Are you doing it in order to be loved by someone? Because the whole thing that I had to change, I had to start loving myself and putting myself first. Then by changing this mentality, it helps me to say I am now winning. Because at the end of the day, if you are losing in mind, you're not going to lose physically. It has to start with you. I'm having a few quotes that I can get here from Zig Ziglar. He said, getting knocked down in life is a given. Getting up and moving forward is a choice. And this is where I'm saying that you need to make up your mind. Stop coming up with excuses. Get up and start. Baby steps. It is not a matter of how quick you manage to get there. Your speed doesn't matter. Forward is forward. And this is something that I can say to anyone who's saying, this cannot be done. I've tried this and that is not working. Your body is scared of consistency. If you put consistency and determination, you will see that your body is going to shrink. It's going to be scared, and you are going to make it.
Yes, keywords, determination and consistency. That's discipline, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for those words of encouragement. Now, Doctor, what would you tell a person right now who is sitting at home and is ready to just give up?
I would say to them, first, I would like to say I am myself inspired by Lawrence. He went up and he went down. Even during lockdown, he actually shook himself. I was also running in the house. I'm also the same as him. But I'm so inspired, for him not to give up. So I would say at the Roots Health Center, we always encourage people to service their body. It's extremely important, to always cleanse their colon, to cleanse their kidneys, their vital organs, to do a liver cleanse, I always encourage also them to take herbs, to stick to correctional way of eating. People, please exercise daily and take walks. If you can't go to the gym, but at least you must actually be active. You must take lots of walks, and you must also love yourself, because that's actually, it shows that you love yourself. When you are determined, just like he says, it's discipline, determination, and there is no shortcut. And consistently is actually, you must make sure you are consistent. If you walk and you say, I'm going to walk 5 kilometers, or I start with 3 kilometers every single day, you tell yourself, for 3 months, I'll be doing this. You'll be doing such a superb job. So thank you so much for having me. It was so amazing for everything. And thank you. I'm actually found there by the Roots and Soweto and Spread You and on our mobiles.
Yes, Doctor, thank you so much for sharing such useful information with us. I mean, I've learned a lot from you. Some of the things I didn't even know myself. You know, sugar, and it's still stuck in my head because I'm thinking, what is that? If it's in dairy products and meat, I mean, you know. And thank you so much to Lawrence and Sam. Your stories are really inspiring. The tips and your journeys are really inspiring. And I hope people really took note of everything that you've said. Q&M uzizweleke ntokazi nawe, you know, this session, a lot was shared, and everything that was shared today was very, very useful. So what would you say are the closing remarks for today's webinar?
Thank you, Zamaswazi, for really delivering such an interesting and exciting and riveting webinar for us tonight. I must say that you've outdone yourself. Thank you so much. Thank you to the panelists. Thank you so much for bringing forth your wisdom and being willing to peel the onion and share with us your stories and be vulnerable to the society at large. We've noted quite a lot of your questions, because we always commit to wanting to be out of here within an hour, and it's we left with 2 minutes. We will take these questions that have been put on all our social media platforms and begin to resonate and answer them as we progress throughout the better part of the month and the months to follow. What I would like to say in closing, alongside our viewers at home, is a quote I shared with an audience sometime in August when we were asked to come and talk at the launch of a book. And I said, you will not be able to serve a society impactfully if you do not know nor understand the pains of the struggles of that society. And no one made that even more understood than Lawrence and Sam. Had Sam not gone through the challenges that he went through, had Lawrence not gone through the pains that he went through, we would not be able to understand how they have overcome that, and they wouldn't be seen as credible. Because they've gone through what they've gone through, we are able to believe in what they're saying, and we know it can happen, because we've been saying this as a campaign on our social media platforms, that it is possible to overcome obesity. But when somebody comes here who's been through that journey and is able to motivate and inspire us, we believe it that much more. But they themselves would not have been credible if they've not gone through what they've gone through. So we thank them for that, and we continue to ask them to lift the flag of South Africa, and to lift the flag of the campaign, to be able to amplify the conversations that we're having, because we do want a healthy and well society. We'll move forward. Tomorrow we've got our virtual gym. For those that are not aware, it kickstarts at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's called the Legs and Glutes. And then, of course, we move on Saturday. We encourage South Africans to do their 5-kilometer walks. The streets are calling. And of course, we've got an I Choose to Be Active street bash taking place next week on the 30th of October. We will unveil all the details to that. We continue every day. Bekele Beke, as Koketo says, we are encouraging South Africans. We do want to be a healthy and well nation. Most importantly, thank you to our doctor. You were phenomenal. You were amazing. You were insightful. You're always selfless in what you do. And we are truly gifted to have you with us tonight. With that, I bid you good night. Thank you, Zama.
Thank you so much. And we have come to the end of our Womandla in Fitness webinar for tonight. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We can now go and drink tea and relax. Bye, guys.